The Lost Prince. In the grand kingdom of Azaria, King Adamar ruled with wisdom and strength. He had only one son, Prince Darius, the heir to his throne and the pride of the kingdom. Darius was a bright young man, eager to learn, and his father had arranged for him to study in the great city of Aldoria. One fateful morning, Darius and his entourage boarded a royal coach bound for the city. As they journeyed through winding roads and vast forests, dark storm clouds gathered overhead. Heavy rain soon followed, turning the path into a treacherous trail of mud and uncertainty. As they crossed a bridge over the mighty Serpent River, tragedy struck. The swollen waters reached below, and a sudden landslide sent the coach tumbling off the bridge. The bus plunged into the violent river, and chaos ensued. The strong currents swallowed the wreckage, carrying it downstream. When rescuers arrived, they recovered a few bodies, but Prince Darius was nowhere to be found. News of the accident spread like wildfire, sending the kingdom into mourning. King Adamar refused to believe his son was dead. Search parties scoured the riverbanks for days, but hope dwindled. Unbeknownst to all, the prince was not lost. The river's fierce current had carried his unconscious body miles away, far beyond the borders of Azaria. In a distant fishing village, a group of fishermen, casting their nets at dawn, spotted something unusual near the shore. To their shock, it was a young man, barely alive. They pulled him from the water, his royal garments torn, his crown lost to the river. The village elder, a wise healer named Mosi, tended to the boy's wounds. When Darius awoke, he had no memory of who he was or where he came from. The villagers took him in, naming him Jingo, meaning survivor. He worked alongside the fishermen, learning their ways and embracing the simple life, unaware of his true identity. Meanwhile, back in Azaria, King Adamar never ceased his search. Years passed, and though many believed the prince was dead, the king clung to hope. Then, one day, word reached the palace of a young man in a distant village, who bore an uncanny resemblance to the lost prince. Years passed, and King Adamar grew weary with age. His once mighty kingdom stood at the brink of uncertainty, for he had no heir to claim the throne. The council of elders urged him to name a successor, but he refused, believing deep in his heart that his son still lived. Meanwhile, in the distant fishing village of Luthara, Darius, now known as Jingo, had grown into a strong and skilled young man. He had become a master fisherman and a leader among the villagers. Though he had no memory of his past, he often dreamt of castles, battlefields, and a voice calling his name. The village elder, Mosi, believed destiny had greater plans for him. One evening, a group of traveling merchants arrived in Luthara. Among them was an old scholar named Baku, who had once served in Azaria's royal court. He noticed Jingo's regal posture and familiar features. As they spoke, Jingo unknowingly mentioned words and customs only a nobleman would know. Baku's heart pounded. Could this be the lost prince? That night, Baku told Jingo the tale of the lost prince of Azaria. Though Jingo was skeptical, something deep within stirred. Come with me to Azaria, Baku urged. If you are truly the prince, your father needs you. Torn between the life he had known and the mystery of his past, Jingo made a decision. He would journey to Azaria, not as a prince, but as a man seeking truth. King Adamar, now frail and weary, had summoned the kingdom's nobles to name a new heir. The council, greedy for power, had begun scheming to divide Azaria among themselves. Just as the final decision was to be made, the palace gates burst open. A stranger stepped forward, standing tall like a warrior, with the sun casting a golden glow behind him. Gasps filled the hall as people saw the resemblance. The lost prince had returned, but not everyone rejoiced. Some nobles, fearing the prince's return would end their ambitions, plotted against him. That night, assassins were sent to kill him. But Django, with his years of training and the instincts of a survivor, fought them off. Realizing his life was in danger, he sought out the king himself. King Adamar, weak and lying in his chamber, gazed upon the young man before him. "If you are my son, tell me something only he would know," the king whispered. Django hesitated, but then a memory surfaced, a lullaby his mother used to sing, without knowing how. He recited the words perfectly. Tears filled the old king's eyes. "My son, my heir." The council refused to recognize him without proof. News of the prince's return spread, but the kingdom was still divided. A trial was set. Django would have to prove himself by reclaiming the kingdom's sacred sword, which had been lost in the Forbidden's ruins. Determined, Django embarked on the perilous quest, facing wild beasts, ancient traps, and betrayal from those who wanted him dead. Along the way he discovered more pieces of his past and the strength of a true king. Will he succeed and reclaim his throne, or will Azaria fall in the hands of traitors? Watch out for The Lost Prince Part 2.